today we got to play the Gold West. So this is a mancala-style board game that has a little bit of air control to it. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because you like board games.
And Western accents.
That too. So. Go West!
Go West!
Go West! Tell us more about it.
This came out in 2015 by Tasty Minstrel Games. It plays 2 to 4 people. The Board Game Geek rated this at 7.4. Designer is J. Alex Kevern, I believe. Art Adam McIver. Published again by TMG. Now, different prices for buying it. It's still available on the market at $59.99. That's the MSRP, but your FLGSs are going to sell it cheaper than that. But Amazon had it for $44.50. Geek Market had it for $24.
Okay. So there's definitely a couple of options out there.
Absolutely.
So
hopefully you have better luck with the pieces than we did, because ours was missing some of the purple.
So
quite a few of the purple.
Yeah. So even we're missing 5/10 out of the purple set. So I had a orange-purple combo.
It's very pretty.
Yeah. But I tell you what, it would be a problem if we had
4 players.
If we had 4 players.
If we had 4 players.
Yeah.
So... And luckily I had all settlements, so I could pretty much put the purple under just a little bit of writing, just a touch. So let's talk about quality of pieces. So you have screen printed little carriages, even though they look like cars. Carriages that, as you sell your silver and gold stuff, they go up. There's also the tents and the circles that go underneath the tents for settlements.
You got miners for your score chart.
Yes, yes. That are actually shaped appropriately. I actually think they're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, they got a little pickaxe and everything.
Yeah, so I think those are pretty good. And then for your resources, you have cubes for the building materials for your settlement, and then you have hexagon, pentagons for your silver, gold, and bronze.
Yeah.
Why is that? Like octagons, I guess, for the...
Yeah, they want to differentiate clearly the
right.
What I don't understand is why there's green cubes that represent wood and black cubes that represent stone.
I'm fine with the black and the stone, sort of.
Well, it seems like you could have just gone with a non-painted wood color and
for the wood
and gray or whatever.
Well, the gray and silver might have been a little too close.
That's true. I mean, they want to probably differentiate.
But then again, there are cubes versus...
Yeah.
So that one I did think was a little bit odd. But
no big deal, though.
It's really not. It's totally functional. The player boards are just a thick cardstock.
See, that's weird. The player boards aren't that great, but man, the cards that here for being able to good thick cardstock.
Yeah, they have texture too.
Yeah, I mean these cards are great, but the player board it's chintzier than the cardstock for the little bitty cards. You think it'd at least be the same thickness or something. So.
Well, and it's like you got these screen printed cards, but then you got weird cube colors.
I think it is the same thickness.
It just don't feel as good.
Well, one's a card and one's
it's not
player
textured.
board. Yeah, so I mean, it does feel kind of weird.
It's kind of like they took some shortcuts in areas they didn't necessarily have to take some shortcuts.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. I feel like you can't really go any more than a 6 on this.
No, I mean, especially
and
since
maybe even a
our copy is missing pieces.
Yeah, I think 6 is a good score.
Yeah, that's a quality issue if pieces are missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at most, I could give it a 6.
They definitely could have done better. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So I mean, but everything's functional. Everything works.
Yeah.
Nothing completely draws you out of the theme.
So just missing, but not broke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like missing.
Well, plus when you assemble the puzzle that makes the board, some of the pieces were bowing out pretty bad. I had to press them to get them in and kind of stretch.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily their fault. That just could be moisture. It could be from shipping. It could be.
It seems to fit really well, though.
It does. Yeah, it does. Even it fits when you put it together wrong too. Apparently.
Yeah, because we tried that too.
Oh well, we're just gonna do it all. Okay. So everyone kind of agree on a 6?
Yeah. That's pretty strong. Yeah.
So moving on to theme, this is specifically about the gold rush in California. So not completely Western feel, but I didn't feel very.
It feels very pasted on.
Yeah.
It was very pasted on. I did not feel very Western at all.
It's not very Western at all.
I mean, even Gold Rush, even just thinking about that, I didn't. It didn't feel like it.
It didn't.
No, I mean, you've already lost your accent from it, so.
Yeah, that's how big of a deal it was.
Are you gonna make fun of me this whole entire video?
I plan to.
Y'all.
You're going to make me mad, and then I am going to start talking to Max, and then you're in trouble.
Should pull out a 6-shooter and shoot him. Pew pew.
Listen, I'm from the South. Northern stinking Yankees. All right. So, but yeah, so.
He's a Yank anyway. But,
yeah. He's definitely a Yankee. Oh my gosh, when I met him, I was like, this is totally a city boy. Like, there's no doubt about it. Totally making fun of him for the rest of the video for going after me. All right, so, theme 5, guys.
Yeah.
5.
If that much? Because it doesn't, for being an Old West game, it don't feel Old West.
Well, I mean, my thing is it's Catan. Like, okay, it's the same
Right.
pasted on.
Yeah, it doesn't detract from the game.
It doesn't, no. So, yeah, I think a 5 is about
5.
right. Not great.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see giving it more than a 5.
Yeah. So then moving on to rules.
Well, the game's pretty simple. I mean, the rule book was pretty detailed, gave everything you needed. It didn't have any cheat sheets. That would have kind of been nice. It does tell you the steps, though, down here, but it doesn't go into, like, the second tier of what are the things you can do with the medals, which would have been nice to have those things in front of you. But it's really a pretty simple game. Once you start learning the mechanics, it's not tough at all. You really don't need a cheat sheet after that. The rule book is 15 pages. The last sections are the description of all the cards and all of the tokens for the Boomtown. And they have nice pictures, so this is really useful for all of that. I think it does a good job with what is in here, and the examples are really useful. I'd say it's an 8.
Okay, so all right, cool. So moving on to overall gameplay. So this is actually pretty straightforward. You end up with starting resources, and basically what you do is you pick a row that you are going to take the resources from, and you're going to drop them off until you land to the other side.
It's the mancala aspect.
Yes. So whatever falls off the board are your resources for that round. So no matter what, you end up having to play a tent. Now, to play a tent, you either play a rock or a wood resource.
Or both.
Or both to make a settlement.
Yes, but this is the final step on the turn, so we're skipping ahead to the
Okay, so, well, it's typically what I thought about first. But anyway, so then you have the leftover, so that's what the wood and the stone are for, is for that settlement piece. But before we get to that, then you have bronze and gold. So what can you do with your bronze and gold? There's a few things. You can sell your bronze, gold, and silver. Sorry, misspoke there. And you can sell them on this track. As you advance the track, you have the options to get, at a certain level, you get victory points, as well as you can get, if you're there the first, you get more victory points with these victory point tokens. The other option is to use your resources to gain bonuses for end of game scoring down here in the corner. And then the other thing you can do is actually there are contracts down at the bottom that you could purchase for victory points.
That's what these cards are for.
Absolutely.
There's 8 of these per game, but there's a whole bunch of them that are in the box.
Yeah. They get rotated in and out. And with those, there are bonuses as well as victory points based on that. So that's what you can do with your gold, silver, and bronze. And then you place your settlement. So typically, when you place your settlement, you'll take your tent or your tent and circle for the settlement piece, and you place it on a given location, and you get the token, and you take the resources that are pictured on the token, and you place them in any one slot of your choice. Now, the thing is you get the victory points that are assigned to that slot by putting them there. So the further back you go, which means the longer it will take for you to get those resources, you get more victory points for. But in that same breath, though, it may be harder to get those resources, so you got to figure that one out. But then, so you take it, and then if you placed a tent, you only move up one space and put it on your track. But if you had a settlement, you skip one and put it on the appropriate track. This part, at the end of the game, the person with the most in a particular row and the second most get victory points based on that. So that's where you get your victory points from. But, so what happens if you don't have resources to build a tent or a settlement? You end up having to loot. So you place one of your tents in the wanted section, which is worth -1 victory point per tent in the game.
Immediately.
Yeah,
Immediately.
-1 immediate, and then at the end of the game, there's a double penalty because you get penalized for
If you
whoever
have
has
the
the
most
most
or
or
second
second
most.
most in there.
Yes. Then, yeah. And then for that one, you just duplicate a token. You don't actually get the token when you
Right.
steal the
So
resources.
it's actually a
Right.
third penalty for it. So it's really costly for you not to have a build function.
Yes, correct. And so that is pretty much the synopsis of the game. Now, the end of game victory points that are over here in this section, they differ, right? So you have multiple ones to choose
There's a
from.
bunch of tokens for there that are alternated in and out. That's called Boomtown, that section, and it's really a kind of a neat mechanism because you sell 2 gold or 2 silver, any combination of 2 metals, and it puts you in a position because they have gold, silver, and bronze on both the vertical and horizontal axes, and that will determine where you put your disc. Only one disc can be in a given
It's
space.
locked up.
But
Once
also understand that it takes
influence.
away a disc. So there were settlements I could not build because I did not have a disc. So just be aware of that.
Well, most people don't go settlement crazy like you did. So.
Well, I got victory points for it.
Well,
so
yeah, I'm just saying.
Why wouldn't
Well, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying most people don't.
I? So that's the overarching game. I found this to be a good little puzzle game. It was
Yeah,
okay.
I really like the mancala aspect of it. I was
I
not
did too.
expecting that in this game when I got it out. I didn't know what it was, and I was like, oh, I like Trajan. I like games like that. And this was a kind of a hybrid mancala because normally mancala you don't lose; they just keep moving around.
Right.
Here you actually move them off your board, and that becomes your useful items, which I thought that was really cool. So that was something fresh and new that I haven't seen before.
I like the fact that you get victory points about how far you place that out. Like,
yeah.
I kept putting my stuff on, or like planning it out to be further down because that's a free victory point if I plan it appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically, I would set up my first 3 slots, start doing those actions, and then put the rest on my 3, knowing that that I was building
Right.
up to that.
Well,
So
plus it
worked out
gives you a
nicely.
room to align your resources because that was the problem I kept running into was trying to get things aligned so that they would roll off, in essence, the assembly line at the same time. And it was very difficult on that, and I couldn't focus on a lot of the other aspects because I was so busy focusing on that.
Well, I will say, at no point did I get 4 gold, silver, whatever to fill any type of contract. My strategy was strictly building settlements, making sure I had stuff for tents, and then getting some of the end of game scoring when I had the chance and anything
Right.
extra
I probably
selling.
should have strategically tried to block you down in Boomtown because that probably would have cost you the game. My strategy probably would have won if I had intentionally blocked you there. So I think there is a little bit of what do you call it, hate blocking, or I think you could do some strategic positioning of your things to keep others from scoring. Not only there, but also on the board, cutting off.
Yeah, but here's the thing,
supply
though.
lines.
You're talking about, if you just block me on one of those, you're talking about 9 or 10 points at the most. But then you're taking away of an action that you did. I'm not necessarily sure that you would
I
have
don't
won.
know. There's a lot of actions I did that didn't net any points, so it probably wouldn't have been.
Well, then basically you didn't.
Yeah, I
play
mean,
very
well,
well,
like the ones here with the selling, you only get victory points in certain positions. I moved some of mine without getting anything for them, so.
Well, correct. I did that with the silver. That's
Yeah.
pointless.
So I mean, there are spots where it's not advantageous. So if you plan it right, I think you could still do it without taking a loss on anything. Is what I'm saying. So I think this being the first play, I think there's a lot more strategy that could be done that we didn't take advantage of. I think cutting off people's longest trails can be a strategy, which we didn't do. We just kind of let everybody do what they needed. The only times I jumped over anywhere was to get, I think I did take this gold just to keep you from getting to it, but that was
that wasn't very nice.
That was the only thing that I did that was kind of like that.
Not that you don't have plenty of options to get gold elsewhere.
Well, yeah, but why would I take one of mine when there's one over here that I could take for free?
Well, I understand. I'm just saying, though, blocking, as far as blocking resources, I don't know how effective that'll be because there's so many resources.
I'm not talking about blocking resources. I'm like talking about cutting off people's connections.
Longest.
Because like Miranda had like one of these missing for the longest time. I think it was this one.
No, it's the next one.
Oh, is it?
Purple on purple. That's the last thing.
Because we could have cut her where she wouldn't have been able to connect
Oh, 2 though. I mean, I still had a pretty long.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
And if I wouldn't have placed there, I would have put that one on the end. So instead of a 12, I would have had 11.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm just saying there's things you could do, but then
Right.
you're also sacrificing. I mean, Rob could have done it easier than me because it would have stayed connected potentially with them. But you can meander into other people's territory. And I think with a 4th player, we probably would have had a lot more of that.
That's true, too.
That is true. I think with 4, yes.
And you get less tints if you have more people.
Yeah, it's 2 less tints.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll be honest though, when I played this as best as I could. Like, here's the problem that I'm going to have with this game is I am satisfied with my playthrough. I won't have to play this game again because I felt like, given with what I had, I set up really good combinations and I'm good to walk away, which is like...
So you don't think there's not enough depth to allow for multiple plays?
Well, and maybe because sometimes when you play the perfect game, you just kind of want to walk away, and I felt like I did that. I felt like, I'm good. I did a really good, solid job managing my pieces. And
you don't want to see if you can do that again with 4 people, though?
No.
Okay. Might tarnish the game. Is maybe not.
I don't ever have that feeling. I get, I'll get a game where I don't like it and therefore don't want to play it again.
And
I don't get a game
so
that I
stays
do
down
like
the
and say, oh, I did my best, so I don't ever want to play it again. I've never had a feeling like that before.
Well, then that should tell you something. Here's my thing. I don't think this game is fun enough to play again for the sheer enjoyment. So I feel like, oh, look, I've checked this off my box, and I'm okay. Like, I did a really good playthrough. Mm-hmm. It's not fun enough for me to play again. It was okay, and I did a good job, and I am okay walking away from this game.
It just depends how you look at it. I mean, if it's for the mancala aspect, I like Trojan better. Yeah. But it's an okay game. I would certainly, if someone else wanted to play it, I'd play it.
That's the way I feel.
I'd play it.
I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't play it again, but I am content to where I will never pull this out ever again.
But, I mean, if it come down between this and Trojan, there's no competition.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I like Trojan way better than this.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's much more depth.
There's no competition.
Yeah. I mean, and that's my thing is, a game should draw you in, and I'm not drawn in.
I get it. But I didn't dislike it enough to be...
No. I mean, it's not that I didn't. It was okay. I don't need to play it again.
Okay. All right. So what would you score?
It wasn't a bad game. 6.5. It just wasn't a lot of fun either.
Okay. Randy?
That's funny because that was what I was thinking my score was going to be. But she sounds like she just despised the game.
No, I don't despise the game. It's okay. I feel accomplished with the gameplay I had. I just don't think it has any more to offer. So when I think about other games that we never get to play, I would rather play those.
Well, I would rather learn new games too. And this is a fine game if for a light strategy game. If your parents were here or we wanted to play something that was not a brain burner, I think there's always a place for that. I don't have those kind of feelings like you do, where it's like, okay, I'm done, and I'm going to move on.
Well, no, I just feel completed. So.
That's sweet.
I'm complete. And then there's some satisfaction to it, but I fear that it just doesn't have the playability.
Yeah. I get it. I get it because although it's fun, there's better options out there. I'm willing to play those first. So I get that. Now, if Trojan somehow got burnt in my collection and I don't have Trojan anymore, I'd be really sad. But
you may go buy another copy.
I would definitely go buy another copy. But I was like, while it got sent to me, hey Randy, kind of borrowed Gold West, and I'll play it.
The Mongols came in and burned your
Trojan,
yeah,
because they're jerks. That's what Mongols do. So.
I mean, I just think of all the really good games that we've played. And we want to play again. Even some of the okay games, oh crap, I need to figure this out, right? This did not have any of that in there.
No.
Even when I think about Azul, each hand is different enough to be like, okay, and my mom's really good. I want to freaking beat her. Like, it's hard. And so, there's some draw to it, some challenge to it. This game, the challenge is gone for me. So I'm not going to pull it back out.
And that's okay.
Mm-hmm. And that's okay.
That's okay. I think I agree, though. It's a 6.5 for me. Good game. Not great.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. And please don't make fun of my accent.
Please do.
Please don't.
Make comments.
Listen.
I don't think you can make comments in an accent.
Oh, you can totally make comments in an accent.
That sounds so bad.
I know, right?
You don't know. That don't.
It's okay.
No.
We still love you.
No.
Yeah, we do.
No.
No, we do.
I'm just saying, don't do the accent.
No. Okay. Well.
Well, I love you guys. Bye. Howdy. Today we got to play the Gold West. So this is a Mancala style board game.
Your accent kicked in because apparently you really wanted to show we were in West.
What? Gold West. Ding.
Sure enough.
I said howdy. You just went.
No, it wasn't the howdy.
It wasn't the howdy.
It wasn't the howdy. He's like, we play Gold West.
Go West. You sure? Where's West? I don't know.
It's over by gold.
It's over by Skeeter.
Weren't we supposed to be Western with my brothers?
You didn't go all west with the first time we tried it, but all of a sudden put the cowboy hat
We weren't
on.
expecting Hoss to come out. Sorry. You threw us.
I'm gonna be all nervous trying to talk. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna say.
No, you said fine.
You said it's fine.
You just caught us
yeah,
off
just
guard.
where the fake Western accent came from, I don't know.
Fake is what's sad. So I grew up. Okay. You realize I lived in Texas for a while, right?
You lived in Kentucky for a while. You lived in Indiana for a while.
Yeah, but where I learned up talking. All right. Are y'all gonna laugh at me?
I don't know.
I wasn't going to laugh until you did your fake Western accent. That was fine. And it just came out of the blue. That's the worst part.
It was the fact that we weren't prepared for it. And I laughed because he laughed. I wasn't going to laugh.
But at least you knew why I was laughing.
Oh, I knew why you were laughing. I just wasn't expecting it. So when he laughed, it set off a whole, chain of laughter.
I thought we were trying to be Western.
We are.
Well, I think it was that I wasn't prepared. I'm prepared. Goose for all.
This is gonna go with the ending.
Pretty
It's totally
much.
gonna go with it.
It might be the whole video, actually.